Happy Friday! You know what Friday means? It means it's time for another first chapter. This week's First Chapter Friday is a sequel to a book that many of you were introduced to this year. Some of you even found, surprise, surprise, in our scavenger hunt this year. So, if you found or got Dragons in a Bag, or you've seen it since, I did a first chapter from this as part of my commercial at the time of the scavenger hunt. So if you read this one, wait till you read this one. So this one was called Dragons in a Bag. And great story, great problem, magic, dragons, all of it is in this. The dragon thief picks up where the Dragons in a Bag leaves off. So Dragons in the Bag leaves with another problem starting, and Dragon Thief picks up with that problem. It's by the same author, Zetta Elliott. And so I will read just chapter 1. Chapter 1, Kavita. Thief! The word whistles through the air and pricks the back of my neck. I turn to find Auntie's black eyes fixed on me. She was snoring loudly when I crept into her room just a moment ago. That gave me the courage to pull a chair over to the mountain of boxes and stuffed plastic bags she keeps in the corner. At the very top of the mound of junk is a wire bird cage that's shaped sort of like the Taj Mahal. I need it now. I inch up on my tippy toes and reach for the bird cage. My other hand sinks into the soft, squishy contents of the yellow plastic bag that's wedged between two boxes. I don't know what's inside the bag, and I don't care. Mommy would never let me keep my room like this, but no one ever criticizes Auntie. Papa won't allow it. She's the oldest person in our family and spends almost every day buried under the heavy, colorful quilt that covers her bed. Sometimes she hums to herself and stares out the window. Other times she watches game shows on the little black and white TV that sits next to her bed. Now I see her pointing a wrinkled brown finger at me. Thief! She says it louder this time. I feel my cheeks burn with shame. No, Auntie, by pressing my hand deeper into the squishy plastic bag, I managed to steady myself and turn all the way around to face her. I just need to borrow. Whoa! I was so close to reaching my prize, but then I lose my balance. I fall off the chair, bounce off the foot of the bed, and land on the floor with a thud. My fall brings down an avalanche of boxes, so I cover my head with my hands. When I open my eyes, the empty bird cage is rolling on its side next to me. Tut, tut, tut. Auntie makes the strange sound without opening her mouth. What a mess you've made. Auntie, is everything all right? My eyes open wide. If Mommy comes upstairs, she'll want to know why I'm in Auntie's room. So here's a little illustration they have of Kavita in Auntie's room. So you can see back here's Auntie watching her. Here's Kavita on the chair reaching. And you can just see the edge of that bird cage, right? You can't see the whole thing. If I tell Mommy the truth, she'll want to know why I need an old bird cage. And I can't tell her there's a dragon in my bedroom. I can't tell anyone that I'm a dragon thief. Auntie watches me with a slight smile on her face. Against her dark skin, her black eyes sparkle with amusement. I don't think she's angry with me, so I decide to plead for help. Please don't tell me, Auntie. I'll clean everything up, I promise. We both know Mommy's standing at the foot of the stairs. Her hand is probably on the railing, and she's wondering whether she needs to come upstairs to check on Auntie. My heart is pounding fast and hard, but I don't yet hear Mommy's slippered feet climbing the stairs. Please, Auntie, I whisper. Auntie clears her throat and calls, I'm fine, dear. I just knocked over some boxes. Kavita's here to help me. We wait, frozen and silent, until we hear Mommy's voice floating upstairs. Okay, Auntie, I'll be up soon with your lunch. Because she's an elder, Auntie doesn't have to do much around the house. She really only leaves her room to use the toilet and take 2-hour baths. Auntie doesn't even come downstairs to eat with us unless we have company over on special occasions. Mommy brings Auntie's meals up on a tray. I scan the messy room for a clock and find one on the nightstand next to the bed. It's a square digital clock that Vic and I gave to Auntie last Christmas. Its giant blue display reads 11:38. I hop to my feet and scramble to pick up all the things I've just knocked down. Auntie waves her hand at me and says, Leave it, child. It makes no difference to me whether they are up against the wall or on the floor. What is it you came to borrow? I feel guilty. So I set the chair back on its legs and stack a couple of boxes on its seat. Then I point to the pink wire cage and say, I came to borrow your bird cage, Auntie. Her dark eyes narrow as she squints at me. You don't have a bird. My cheeks burn, and I dig my toes into the thick green carpet. No, Auntie. After studying me for a moment, she says, Do you have some other kind of pet? I nod without looking up. How much should I tell her? I put it in a box, but I stop and decide not to tell Auntie that the dragon set the cardboard box on fire. I need something stronger. Before I turn the page, I was just thinking about that phrase. There's a phrase that I just read. My cheeks burn again, and I dig my toes into the thick green carpet. That's the author's way of telling us how Kavita feels, right? That character's feeling without telling us the feeling. So we have to do some inference, in order to figure out what's the feeling that goes with your cheeks are red, you're digging your toes into the carpet, you're probably looking down. Take a moment to think about what that feeling, you might have felt that feeling, right? So what is that feeling? What's the name for that feeling? Okay. Auntie leans back against her pillows and smooths the quilt with her hands. I see. And your mother doesn't know about this new pet of yours? It's not a question. I nod again and dare to glance at Auntie's face. Then you'd better take it, Auntie says, with a nod at the cage on the floor. I had a songbird once, but I set it free before I left India. I only keep the cage to remind me. I pick up the cage and hold it to my chest. Remind you of what, Auntie? She sighs and closes her eyes. That every living thing wants to be free. I look down at the cage in my arms. It might be shaped like the Taj Mahal, but it's not a palace, and certainly not a good home for a baby dragon. My cheeks burn again, and this time, tears spill from my eyes. Come here, Kavita, Auntie says. The kindness in her voice draws me over to the bed. I sit on the edge and sniffle once or twice. Auntie hands me a tissue, and I set the cage on the floor once more so I can blow my nose. You probably want to keep your pet safe, she says softly. When I nod, Auntie asks, Do you think it will be happy in this cage? I shake my head, and more tears run down my face. Oh, Auntie, I sob, throwing myself across the bed. I've messed everything up. I just wanted one for myself, and Jackson had 3. But I don't know how to take care of it, Auntie. I know it's hungry, but every time I feed it, it grows and grows. Auntie strokes my hair and makes that sound once more. But this time it's meant to soothe me, not chastise me. Every problem has a solution, she assures me. We can figure out what to do if we put our heads together. I look up from the pillow and blink away my tears. Auntie is smiling at me, her round face framed by tiny, defiant silver curls. I put my arms around her and give her a hug. It feels good knowing I've got someone to help me care for the dragon. I couldn't ask my big brother what to do. Vic would just yell at me for stealing from his best friend. Auntie hands me another tissue from the box on her nightstand. When I blowed my nose and dried my eyes, she says, So, tell me about your new pet. I open my mouth to tell her just how marvelous the dragon is, but stop when I hear scratching at the door. It creaks open, and a tiny purple head appears. I gasped, Oh no, Mo! I jump up from the bed. How did the dragon get out of my bedroom? I put it inside the laundry hamper and made sure to close the door behind me. A knot of dread twists in my tummy. The dragon couldn't have burned a hole through the door, could it? I sniff the air, but I don't smell any smoke. Auntie grips her quilt and pulls it closer to her chin. A rat, she cries. No, Auntie, it's not a rat. It's a dragon. Auntie's jaw drops and her eyes open wide. Then she fumbles for her glasses and takes a closer look at her unusual visitor. The dragon squeezes past the door and cautiously enters the room. I haven't been feeding it, yet the magical creature has grown to be almost as big as a kitten. It even mews and purrs like one. But instead of whiskers and fur, the dragon has metallic scales and triangular plates that run along the ridge of its spine. Well, Auntie says with obvious admiration. Now I've seen everything. Even though the dragon doesn't belong to me, I still feel proud of it. But my smile vanishes when I hear the soft thud of footsteps coming up the stairs. My eyes dart to the clock. It's noon. Time for lunch. Uh-oh, I cry. Mummy's coming. Auntie points at a wicker basket on the dressing table. Quick, she says, put your little friend in there. I scoop up the writhing dragon, but when I open the basket, it's crammed full of sewing stuff. Auntie sighs and throws up her hands. I've been meaning to clean it out. No time now. The waste bin. Quick, hurry. Quick, empty it. I do as I'm told, and an avalanche of crumpled up tissues tumbles onto the carpet. Sit, sit, Auntie hisses. I trap the dragon under the metal waistband and sit on it just as Mummy pushes the door open with her back and enters the room with a tray of steaming food. I made your favorite, Auntie, Mummy says in the high sing-song voice she uses only when she's trying to hide the fact that she's annoyed. I hope it's to your liking. Auntie smiles up at Mummy, but then looks at the tray of food and wrinkles her nose. She sniffs the fragrant steam rising from the plate and says, too much cumin. Mummy presses her lips together. You might have seen, I've done that once or twice. But doesn't say a word. I can tell she wants to say something, but Auntie is an elder and must be shown respect. Once I heard Mummy and Papa arguing about Auntie. She belongs in a nursing home, Mummy had said. She belongs here in our home, Papa replied. She's not family, Adib. Auntie is more than family, Papa had insisted. She looked after me since the day I was born. And you've cared for her all these years. You brought her to America. You don't owe her anything more. I owe her everything, Mira. She's staying, and that's final. Papa almost never raises his voice, so it was strange to hear him getting so upset. I never heard my parents arguing about Auntie after that. Papa is the one who wants Auntie to live with us, but Mummy's the one who has to look after her. Suddenly, I feel the metal waistband growing warm beneath me. The dragon must be trying to burn its way out. I squirm as the bin grows hotter and cough a few times to cover the squeals of displeasure coming from the dragon. Mummy stares at me for a moment. I hope you're not bothering Auntie, Kavita. I frown and shake my head. Why does everyone think I'm such a pest? Kavita's keeping me company, Auntie says, drawing away Mummy's attention. It isn't good to eat alone. It's bad for digestion. You always make such a lot of food. Auntie pushes the basmati rice around with her fork. Maybe Kavita can help me eat it all, she says doubtfully. I smile and nod at Mummy, but she knows there's no way I can eat any of the food on that plate. Auntie lights a lot of chili pepper in her food, so much that Mummy has to cook it in separate pots. I think the dragon wants to taste Auntie's super spicy food because it starts to whine. I start coughing again to conceal the sound. Mummy frowns and comes over to press her palm against my forehead. Are you coming down with a cold? She just needs some tea with plenty of honey and cayenne. Why don't you go back downstairs and put the kettle on, dear? Mummy's lips twist a bit before finally turning up into a small, tight smile. I guess I'd better. I open my mouth to object, but Mummy holds up her hand to silence me. Auntie's right. Better to treat your cough now before it develops into a full-blown cold. Why don't you put on your pajamas and climb back into bed? Mummy has a way of saying things that lets me know she's giving an order, not making a suggestion. I know I should head back to my room, but if I stand up, the dragon may escape from under the waistband. Auntie saves me by saying, I'll keep Kavita with me, dear. She can suck on a lozenge for now. I know I've got some around here somewhere. Mummy casts a disdainful glance around the messy bedroom. She smothers a sigh and says to me, Don't talk Auntie's ear off while she's eating, Kavita, and please bring the tray downstairs once she has finished her lunch. You can drink your tea in the kitchen. Yes, Mummy, I say from my perch on the uncomfortably warm waistband. As soon as we hear my mother going down the creaky stairs, I jump up and lift the bin off the floor. Mo immediately runs to the bed and uses its sharp talons to climb up the quilt. Close the door, Auntie says. I do as I'm told. Then I lean back against the door and watch as the dragon scampers around the bed, chasing the colorful strips of fabric sewn onto the quilt. Come here, child, Auntie says, waving me near. I swallow hard and walk over to the bed. Mo scrambles up Auntie's long braid and snuggles against the soft, wrinkly skin of her neck. You're a long way from home, aren't you? Auntie says softly. I am too. She strokes the dragon's belly and then looks over at me. Well, child, you'd better tell me everything. And that is the end of chapter 1 of The Dragon Thief. So here's Kavita, and here's her dragon that she stole, and it sounds like she might have a partner in crime in Auntie who's going to help her solve the problem. So I hope you pick up Dragons in a Bag if you haven't read that, or if you have, get ready to find The Dragon Thief and read this one. Have a great day and enjoy some great books today.